I am not calling them pastors of particular concern because I'm trying to make a joke out of them. No. I know Nigeria has been designated as a country of particular concern based on what you have been discussing recently, looking at the insecurity in the country. But let's go out a bit, of course, of the context and look at other things that probably the masses care about the more. And yes, is the drama that we all are used to. In my previous video on my next channel, if you look at this channel, you see that there are two pictures there, the collaborating channel. I discussed about the recent trend that concerned Rev Isaac Omolehin. And indeed, of course, like I did before in the last time, certain things were inconsistent in what he had to say. And yes, there has been a response from, would I say, his team or people that are in close proximity with him about his accusations of the PFN when he was at his brother or his partner in suffering, Apostle Erome Osai. By the way, happy belated birthday to the apostle himself. Hey, it has been interesting recently. Happy belated birthday, Apostle Erome Osai. I hope you are doing fine. I hope the Redman community are doing very well. I guess some of your community members are here. You might be seeing them in the comment wishing you happy birthday. I guess he doesn't even watch me, but that is just by the way. You see, let's start with the person of the PFN president. I have been looking at this video of Rev Isaac Omolehin dancing with the PFN president, Bishop Wale Oke. I've looked at many other things in the social media.
Can you find a way to, there are so many hangers on it. Can you, let's celebrate Bishop Wale Oke, please. Okay, you have a spare one. You see, the president of PFN in Nigeria, is the largest Pentecostal body in Africa. And the leader of that body is in the house. So Bishop Francis Wale Oke is not just PFN president in Nigeria, as it were, is the president of the biggest Pentecostal fellowship in Africa. Bishop Francis Wale Oke is bigger than he looks. Please help me celebrate Bishop Francis Wale Oke.
Even after the last time he called out the PFN, which are going to be reading a statement that came from Isaac Omolehin's team, which I found to be very preposterous based on what is the current conversation. And I'm wondering, these people that are this close, is it that they have been pretending? Because if you have this amount of access as an elder, as someone that is known in the, at least Nigerian Christian space, I would say of recent, like I told you before, I hadn't known him before until the recent dramas, controversy that has made me know him. If you have this amount of access to the PFN president, and yet still you accuse the same body for witch hunting you, for restricting you, for not giving you podium, or for stopping you from preaching where you have to preach, then I need to look at your statement very carefully to really know what is your agenda. Are you looking for attention? Are you looking for sympathy? Or do you just want the people that the innuendo of your conversations, or would I say recent trends about your podcast appearances, or would I say preachings, are you looking for the innuendo, its purports, looking at the Oyedepos, Adeboyes, and those who are indeed, of course, buoyant in ministry, if I'm to say so? Are you looking for a reaction from them?
Need to know how many private jets Nigerian pastors fly. Nigerian pastors have the highest number of private jets in the whole of Africa. Mission schools, when we went to mission schools, our fathers were able to pay our school fees by selling kola nut and selling banana and plantain. They were able to afford our school fees. Today, our own members cannot afford the school fees that the church, your own church that you attend, put down. It's more of the Abuja politicians and the thieves. They are the ones who have their children there. Your own members don't have your children in the school because it's too expensive. And yet it's about money, 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 money. The richest pastor, the richest prophet. Those things don't make sense to me. If you don't like that, go and find out whether what I said is true or not. You don't just come out and start talking. I'm putting figures out. The attack on Omolehin does not seem to even make sense to me because you have not come out to say that Isaac Omolehin told you.
Now, you see, I'm playing the devil's advocate now because some of you are going to start roasting me in the comments. And I know why I'm saying the things I'm saying, because if you know me personally, and I've even shared pulpits with you on different occasions, Why would you be coming to speak about something we could talk about on the phone? Or is it just a drama? Because if you read the PFN's letter in our previous discussion of their reaction to what he said, they have asked him for proofs. They have asked him to mention names so that while he's dragging the PFN to distribute, which of course I'm not here speaking for the PFN, because many of you hate me to the core, we have to deal with facts here without any sentiment. And that is the core of why we exist here on the platform. So looking at this head on, I got to make some discoveries. 3 months ago, Rev Isaac Omolehin preached for the very first time in Canada. 3 months ago. I'm not kidding. Here is a video.
New Covenant Assembly, let us receive the ministry of evangelist Isaac Omolehin for the first time in Canada. His first time in Canada. God brought him here. Come on, let's go.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you. Please be seated. As the pastor said, it's my first time in Canada, and it has pleased God to make me touch the ground here first. So, my first fruit, as it were, is here. And the topic before us excites me a lot because that's what I like talking about. Walking in the Spirit and power. Today I will be dealing with walking in the Spirit. Sunday I will be dealing with the power sector.
And even he himself verified that 3 months ago was his first time in Canada. Note, in his assertion, he was being turned down in Canada and not paid what was due to him by a church that invited him, and he spent $8,000 only for him to get there, and an instruction came from Nigeria that he should not preach there. I gave you 2 scenarios for which that could be interpreted. I don't want to repeat myself here. And this was your first time in Canada 3 months ago, to the point I'm speaking right now, the Life in the Spirit conference. My question right now would be, was there a first time before this one, or was there a second time after this particular meeting 3 months ago? That is the question, because it begins to make sense. Why am I pointing this out? In this same meeting that he was present in Canada, the PFN president, Bishop Wale Oke, was in the same meeting as an itinerary. Hey, someone made a video on Instagram and said that it's not itinerary, itinerary. Oh, English. Let me just speak what I know. Are you going to tell me that he didn't know that he was going to be preaching at the same event with the PFN president, or the PFN president who is witch hunting him, as is purported? Because when you say PFN, you look at the apex. Just like when I mentioned your church, who do you think about? The upper echelon, the person that is the face of the ministry. That the PFN president will know that he is preaching with this same Isaac Omolehin, with all due respect, Rev Isaac Omolehin, and he allowed that to even be on a program, that 2 of them shared the same podium, preach in the same church in the same country. Think about this for a moment, my dear friend. Because if the PFN president, or if the PFN as a body would be the one witch hunting him, why would they even want to associate with him to the point that he and the PFN president are in the same program together, preaching on the same podium, even though at different times? Think about that for a moment. That's why we need facts, because the sentimental people are going to run with his message. Whether you hate the churches that are in the prosperity, I understand, or you hate, you have an animosity towards whoever. His messages, like I've told you as well, his messages are going to become relevant to you because of the sentiments it draws in, what you like about it. It's okay. That's why I said when it comes to his messages, I ain't got no problem with that. But when it comes to the stories, I just see super story, my dear friend. Make this make sense. Making this make sense, I would have made this video longer, but I will just stop here by giving you this revelation. From my investigation, this was the church that rejected him. He was for his first time in Canada in August, but September 18 to 21st, he was supposed to have a program at a program at a CAC Bethel Church. CAC, you know CAC Church. And then he said there was a word that came from Nigeria that he should not be allowed to preach there after spending $8,000 for him to fly on his own to get there. And I would also understand why, because when I looked at the church itself and looked at the capacity of the church and looked at, probably I'm just being judgmental, forgive me for that. A church like that spending $8,000 just for his transportation and also having to, of course, they will do honorarium for him. Asking him to cater for his expenses would make sense, because I would really wonder if they can. Now, again, I'm not being judgmental. I'm just saying from my observation, because the numbers are not like the numbers I saw when he was at the bigger church, which I will discuss about in my next video of what happened there. It becomes as well quite concerning why that would happen. But I don't think, in my opinion, that him not being allowed to preach there is a product of the PFN. Probably it is the CAC body themselves that decided for him not to preach there, because in his calling out last time he came out and apologized, I think part of his own offense then was that he talked about the CAC church, which was something that was not welcoming, of course, to the members of the CAC. Do you understand? So that might be something that is happening, and I mentioned that in my previous video, that this might have been something that is from the church itself, the church body he is going to preach in, making that decision. You see, he was at another person's church in Canada there who doesn't belong, who is not like, that's the general overseer over there at the church. Nothing of such happened. He was there with the PFN president. So why would he be blocked, of course, from coming here? Because indeed, this church is under a mother church, I would say. From the logo, I would see, and probably I would say that this right here is something that is a product of that church, not a PFN situation. But I will talk more of this in my next video. I just want to drop it here, drop this one here, something short and sweet, and I've gone a blazing, like how Trump said it. But don't mind me. Tell me what you make out of this. And since nobody wants to talk about what the proof PFN is looking for, if PFN people are watching, this is the church that rejected him. And I think plausibly, of course, this is the church that rejected him, because I've looked at his first time and this has to be his second time, and there was no third time. In the midst of this, I haven't seen any proof of this right here, of his own assertion. Even I'll go to Punch as well, where someone has responded with respect to what the PFN is asking for. And their statement, or the statement I see there, which is a response from his team allegedly, I find it to be very offensive, because they are not addressing the issue. They are diverting, meaning that what might have been said was a lie. And that's why I see his team or him to be a preacher of particular concern. But to the main person as well here, the senior person in the room, the PFN president, he is also a preacher of particular concern. Because even at the meeting there, something happened that I saw him being dragged on Twitter by the Spirikoko community. Are you people watching me? You see me? Okay. You know, for me, I'm on Twitter, but I'm there as a silent person. I watch like I don't see. And when I want to talk, of course, we bring it here and we dissect everything. Mbegi, your onions.